Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Major William Alexander, the commander of the Training and Education Division for the Prince George's County Police Department. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for Basic Training Class, Session 146. We would ask you to please place all electronic devices on silent, and I would remind you that at any point during today's ceremony, you are welcome to come up and take a photograph, and I really mean that. If you have a photograph, if one of your loved ones, if a graduate comes up here and wins an award, please do not feel shy. Come up and get a photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pride that I present to you the members of our graduating class, Session 146. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to please stand for the presentation of colors and the performance of the national anthem by Student Officer Jawan Montgomery. At the presentation of colors, all uniform officers will render a salute. Civilian and non-uniform personnel may place their right hand over their heart. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order up!
Thank you to the Special Operations Division Color Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to please remain standing as Chaplain Paul Anderson will deliver the invocation.
Would you pray with me? And since it's my first time being able to pray for this group, it's a little long. To the God of all creation, calling and anointing, we have gathered today to celebrate the graduation of a class of new police officers. Thank you for their health, vitality, and their zeal to protect the rule of law and the order and to serve the citizens of our community. As they graduate from this rigorous period of training and receive their commissions today, may they realize that their authority to lead and serve is derived from you. As they don their badges and weapons daily, May they be reminded in their core that they are God's servants to do good. I pray, dear God, that every day you will protect them, guide them, guard them, and deliver them from evil. Give them a spirit of peace and wisdom. Give them ears that hear more than the problems that they will meet, and eyes that see solutions rather than threats. Keep them safe, dear God, as they serve, and their families as well, because they also serve. May the purity and the optimism that characterizes them today be their gift from you during every shift. And when they get home, bless them with the ability to rejoice and celebrate their families. Don't let them become jaded, Lord. Bless them with optimism. Anoint them with peace. Promote them in due season to corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, majors, colonels, and maybe one day, in due season, one of them might even be chief. Until then, we commit them to your care and keeping, knowing that you have plans for each of them, and that in your providence, you will bring them to fulfillment. We pray this prayer confidently because we trust your sovereignty as Alpha, Omega, beginning and end, Lord and Savior, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Anderson. Please be seated.
Take seat.
I'd like to briefly introduce the platform guest here today. I'd ask if you could please hold your applause until the end. Beginning to my right is Chief Malik Aziz, Chief of Police for Prince George's County. Mrs. Angela Also Brooks, the County Executive for Prince George's County. Our relatively new Assistant Chief of Police, Vernon Hale. Deputy Chief Lakina Webster, who's in charge of the Bureau of Administration. Deputy Chief Christopher Price. Deputy Chief James McCreary, Bureau Patrol. Sheriff High, prior Prince George's County Police Chief, and our chaplain this morning, Mr. Anderson. We also have a number of VIPs who are joining us either virtually or here in the crowd. I know the Chiefs Advisory Council, various elected members, folks from the county government, and a number of the Prince George's County command staff and fellow sworn officers who are joining us virtually. All of them will be a part of the journey of your recent graduates beginning into their profession and helping to lead them, hopefully, we hope, to combat crime and make our community safe. So we thank everyone who's joined us here in person today and virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, our guests. And now to begin this morning with some remarks, it's my greatest pleasure that I present to you the Chief of Police for Prince George's County, Chief Malik Aziz. Chief.
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? Well, good afternoon. I mean, it's a great day, so I don't even think you just said that right. I mean, we have graduates here. They spent 9 months in an academy. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's what I'm talking about right there. Say it like you're in church. Let me say a few words here. First of all, I want to thank the academy staff, Deputy Chief Webster from the Bureau of Administration, and you just heard from Major Alexander. I don't know where he went. I guess he's behind me. Major Alexander and the academy staff for the job that they've done for the last 9 months. Let's hear it for them. And I know that she will be introduced here shortly, but our distinguished leader of this great county, the greatest county in the nation, to my right, Miss Angela Also Brooks. Miss Angela Also Brooks, who I believe has given us unwavering support to the police department and public service. Her support has not gone unnoticed here. For the 8 months that I've been here now, the support has shown itself day in and day out, and we really appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you so much, and I know we're going to hear from her shortly. But down here on the bottom to my left is the DCAO, the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Barry Stanton. Mr. Barry Stanton, be recognized. It's a Yeah, he's a great boss on the day-to-day operations for public safety, and I'll be remiss if I didn't thank him enough. I couldn't thank him enough for the job that he does. And for you families who are here today to celebrate this momentous occasion, thank you so much for coming here, for your support. And of course, the men and women of the hour. Let's hear it for the graduates here. Allow me to discuss a few things here. And some of the things that I discussed in just a few minutes ago in a back room here, we just had a small conversation. But for this talk right here, I just want to talk to the families here for a moment, just for a moment, to talk about this profession that I love, that I joined law enforcement some almost 33 years ago in another state, a little state called Texas. I joined law enforcement there. And a few years later, I joined the Dallas Police Department a few days later, and plus 3 decades now. And there's been no greater decision that I made than to join the ranks of the men and women who go out and serve every day. So I want to talk to the families who are here about a few things here of what I've seen over my career. That's very important for you and very important for these individuals right here that you love. So I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to give you some obligations, some marching orders for these young men and women right here, just in case they forget. So I want you to remind them, see, today they have shiny badges on, they're walking across it, we pinned them on, it's a great day, and they might be thinking, you can't tell them nothing. They might be thinking that. You guys aren't thinking that yet, are you? Okay, well, let's hope not. But just in case, I want you to keep them grounded. Got to keep them grounded in this profession. See, in this profession right here, where for me, in like hundreds of thousands, millions over the years, the first night out, the state gave me the authority to seize another person's rights for movement. I had that authority. It's barely 23, I just turned 23 years old. And I had the authority to affect someone's life. To affect someone's life. That's a great authority, great burden on the shoulder of a young person to be able to be given that authority to be sworn in and take an oath of office. And that night, I seized 2 people's rights for movement for felonious crimes and went to jail that night. And multiply that over the years went by, and literally dozens and hundreds of people that I had to seize their rights. And that right there can put your mindset into another zone. That's why I just told you, they got to keep them grounded, because they may no longer want to wash those dishes. They might not want to take out the trash. They might not want to follow any of your orders because they've been giving orders on their own and seizing people's rights. And we've given them this great honor, this great police service for them to take out and be able to do just that. So your obligation, your job is to make sure that they stay themselves. These people right here today, these men and women, your loved ones today, that they remain their true and authentic self that they are today. You're obligated for that. As my mother used to say, she used to say, don't get too big for your britches. Anybody heard that? Y'all didn't have the right parents, right? That's what she said. And that's what you got to do. You got to remind them of all the things that they do now, and don't let them stop doing it. You got a movie night? Don't stop going to the movies. Guys like to go out fishing, got to go hunting, like to go do those things that make life enjoyable, even in a pandemic. Then you got to make sure, you have to make sure that they continue to do those things. You're obligated to keep them grounded. The chaplain said something that was so important just a minute ago. He said, oh Lord, keep them from being jaded. That's what he said. You think he just put that in there for no reason? Because you'll see so much negativity, and it'll be many days of no thanks. It's a thankless job sometimes, and you won't see it. And that right there will add to who they are over a period of time. But the only people that we can count on is you. You know them. You live with them. You've watched them grow up. You've reared them right. You've been there for birthdays. They're going to miss a lot of those, by the way, your birthdays. It's a lot of events they're going to miss, but you've been there with them. And you have to actually make sure you massage that in order to celebrate it on any day, because they're going through some shifts that, that might not be desirable. They're going to get some days off that are no longer the Saturday and Sunday. This is not the 8 to 5 corporate world. And we're counting on you to make sure that they stay themselves. Can I count on you to make sure that they stay themselves? All right, because I'm obligating you to that. The second thing I want to say to you before I turn my attention to them is that your support is required. It's not an option. Your support, you are now inside the greater brotherhood and sisterhood of law enforcement. You have a loved one here, and now you are obligated. Your support is required to help them get through this profession. Because I asked them in the back, did anybody join here to get rich? And to my surprise, nobody said they did. It was to my surprise. I thought you joined this great profession to get rich. That's what I thought. But no, you don't. You join for community service, a police service. And yet, this is what they said in the back. They acknowledge that they are here for a greater purpose. And the greater purpose for you is to give them the support for them to accomplish that greater purpose, because there's nothing better than this police service. It used to be said that we went out and we joined the police service, we joined the military service, and now we say we joined the police service. And I like the service word, because that's what it's about. It's about giving back. And these men and women here are going to give back to the greater part of our citizens, those who are here and those who traverse through here. And I need you. And there's a little book that I always mention that it would be really beneficial for officers and their families to read. It's a book by Dr. Kelvin Gilmartin, Gilmartin. And it's a really great book about what happens to law enforcement officers over a period of time, because I want you to make sure that you notice the signs and keep them grounded and keep them focused and keep them going forward and keep them on the right track to the greatest profession in the world, I think. Now, with that said, I'm going to turn my attention to the men and women of the hour here, and I'm just going to talk to them about a couple of things, and I just want them to remember these things here, because I already talked to them in the back about what they would not remember, and I told them they were not going to remember any guy who pinned a badge on them or nothing like that. Most people are not going to remember the bald-headed black guy who was from Texas, who was handsome. That's me. I'm just joking with you guys. Seriously. I want to talk to you about the two of these things right here. And one of them is that police service to the community. The reason why you and I are here is to serve the best interests of our community. And Prince George's County has a great supporting community, a community that awaits you to deliver a professional police service, to uphold the best of this badge, the best of the patch, the best of law enforcement. There are 900,000 law enforcement officers across the United States. There are 19,000 police departments across these great United States. And yet you have the best representation right in front of you right now. So you have been given a great task to actually deliver the best of policing, because one errant act, one mistake compounds the greater law enforcement community across the United States and erodes the very foundation and fabric that we've stitched together to bring police and community together. All it takes is one. I told them in the back that those kind of things you can sustain for yourself. You can go run, you can hide, but you can't. Families can't. You have to go and live life, work every day. And this badge that you're wearing represents the best representation of themselves, of you. They're the best representation they can represent. It's them, it's you, it's the families coming together. It's people who are bloodlines, people who you know, that we can't sustain the distance if we actually do anything to dishonor this great profession that we have been called to serve in. It's so dynamic for you. And this is the words that I'm talking to you. The last thing I'll say is that you have to serve with love. You're gonna have to serve with love. And it is love, not just love for yourself. It is not just love for the family, but it is also the love for the community. That these are the guardians in the greatest democracy ever assembled in these United States across any existence of worlds that we know. That this is the democracy, and we are guardians of that great democracy. You are the guardians of that great democracy. You're the guardians. And although I told them you can have a warrior's heart, but you have a guardian cloak wrapped around you, and you go and you serve the community in that greater interest. These are the guardians of democracy, the most visible form of democracy that we see every day. And yet, your honest representation with the characteristics of integrity, the characteristics of ethics, of nobility, the best of the words we can describe, the men and women who put on this uniform and this badge and go out and serve, you're them. And so I'm asking you to remember to serve with love. My mother used to bake a cake for people, and she used to bake a cake for my birthday, but she always either she wrote on the cake or she put a little note in it, and she said, with love. See, when you bake a cake, and you put, the eggs and the cream and all of the flour and all those things, and then you put the sugar in it to make it sweet. But the thing that makes a cake that people enjoy is that when it's made with love. And so you've been given the police profession to serve it up with love. The recipe, you're part of that, and you're serving it up. So I'm going to ask you to remember this day, this great day. 9 months have come to fruition to this day. 9 months, and it is your day. And now you just have to remember the reason why you're here, the same things I told you in the back room. So with that said, I'm going to take a step back, but I want you to make sure you acknowledge these great men and women one more time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chief Aziz. It's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce our next guest speaker. She's one of the rare few public officials who has been unafraid and unwavering in her support of not just the law enforcement profession, but the Prince George's County Police Department specifically. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our county executive, Ms. Angela Also-Brooks.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And I tell you, that's so tepid. I feel like the chief. If we don't say good afternoon, can we at least say amen? Since we're in a church, maybe we can say that. And amen simply means that we agree. And I know that we all agree with what is happening today. What an exciting afternoon this is. And I have to tell you the truth, I was so excited to be able to meet the men and women who are joining this police department today. I think it takes a special individual on any given day to step forward, to raise your hand, and to agree to run in many instances toward danger in the interest of others. And I think in today's climate, it takes a special and especially skilled person. It takes a person of high character to raise your hand and agree to protect all of us. And so I was so excited to be able to come here today to meet recruit class 146. And I have to tell you, when they came in here and I heard pump, pump, pump it up, I knew I was in the right place. This totally made my day. I knew I was going to be excited to meet them, but hearing pump, pump, pump it up convinced me that this class is even more special than I thought. So I have to just say, to begin by saying congratulations to recruit class 146. We could not be any more proud of each of you than we are today. And I know that I speak on behalf of Prince George's. There are nearly 1 million of us who welcome you today and who thank you so very much for raising your hand and saying, send me. We welcome you, we welcome your families. We are just so proud and grateful for each of you as well who have supported this class during the course of their training. We know it could not have been easy. It could not have been easy. In fact, we won't have the opportunity to see all the difficulty and the challenges that you confronted to make it to this day, but please know that we celebrate with each of you. We certainly celebrate and support your families, and we're just so thrilled to be here today. I have to just say on a very personal note, you've heard that I support enthusiastically the department of this county. You heard the chief say that this is the finest county in the country, and I don't feel that that is hyperbole or exaggeration. It is truly what I feel. This is my hometown, and I am just so very, very proud of it and proud to have all of you. But I have to tell you as well that I spent 13 years as a prosecutor here, and so when I welcome you today and to say how proud we are, I have to tell you that those 13 years that I had the privilege to work next to so many in our police department, that they were truly some of the best years that I've had. So you're in for quite a ride. I enjoyed quite literally every single day of it. The opportunity to know that you are on the side of preserving justice and freedom, and these are major concepts in our communities, and it is a thrill of a lifetime, and so I'm excited for you. Now, throughout the course of your training, and I also have to say to thank Chief Aziz. We are so proud as well of his leadership. I want to thank him for agreeing to come to Prince George's County to bring his leadership here. Although he has tortured us to some extent, he didn't admit to you all that he's a Cowboys fan. And I have to tell you that this is called, oh, wait a minute now. We got some more in the audience too. And the chief has taken special pleasure in our demise over these last few games, but we love him nonetheless. But he did bring that special brand of that Cowboys kind of brand here. So we do really, we're glad to have him as well. Now, throughout the course of your training, each of you has exhibited the qualities required to be outstanding police officers. You overcame obstacles, both mental and physical, to join the ranks of our honorable police force. We are Prince George's proud of you for your hard work and dedication to this department, and we know now that it is time to celebrate. Training to join our police force is no easy task. It takes commitment from our officers in training and from their loved ones. I want to recognize all the friends and family who supported these recruits along the way. I know that we have gone crazy to support and to clap for our graduates, but can you join me for just a moment? Can we salute, please, the families and loved ones who helped our recruits to get here today? Can we please salute all of them? We know that for so many of our officers, this career would not be possible without the love and support from their families, and so we are so grateful to you. Each member of Recruit Class 146 comes to this department during a period of great change. We've continued to adopt new reforms to better serve our residents, and we appointed Chief Aziz, who is a national leader in community policing, to help implement those reforms. The mission for our department, however, remains the same: to serve and protect our residents and to provide our officers with the support they need to grow and thrive. Over the past months of training, you have given yourselves the tools you need to thrive today. Your training has also equipped you for tomorrow to serve and protect our community for years to come, no matter what may change. I have every confidence that each of you will use these tools every day to forge a strong bond with one another and with the community that you serve. I want to commend Chief Aziz. I also want to commend the entire Prince George's County Police Department, Sheriff Melvin High and his team, and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 89. Together, you have done an outstanding job preparing these new police officers for service. Graduates, you have set yourselves up for success. Your work throughout this training will pay for itself 1,000,000 times over. You can apply what you learned alongside your fellow officers in the department and in the field serving this community. And hear me when I say that Prince George's County Police Department is going to be a national leader on next generation policing. We've given you the tools not only to be outstanding police officers, but to be outstanding leaders among police. You are the next generation that will help lead us and to the future for this department. No matter what tests lay ahead, do not forget where you started. Even amid challenge, each of you are on solid ground. Each of you represents the future of policing in our community. Every day, this fantastic department steps forward for our residents, for themselves, and for the greater good of our county. Graduates, know this. As any good public servant will tell you, trust must be earned. Through our interactions with residents, the nature of our membership in this community has an opportunity to take shape. And right now, each of you wield a tremendous amount of power and a tremendous amount of responsibility. And I have no doubt that each of you will earn the trust of this community, and I am proud to welcome you to the ranks of our police force. As I stand here before you today, I look out and I see the leaders that our community needs. I'm grateful for your hard work, I'm humbled by your sacrifice, and ready to see what you can do for our residents. So I want to thank you again for choosing to serve alongside this next generation community-oriented police force. I look forward to celebrating all of your accomplishments in the years to come, and I want to congratulate again Recruit Class 146 and welcome you to the Prince George's County Police Department. May God continue to bless all of you, this department, and may God continue to bless Prince George's County. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Alsobrooks. There's been a long-standing tradition for the graduating class to elect a spokesperson to address the audience on their behalf. To be selected is a special honor. It signifies the high degree of faith and trust that the class has for this individual. Session 146 has bestowed this honor upon Student Officer Ricky Johnson, Jr.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I would like to welcome and thank family, friends, Chief Aziz, and Sheriff High for attending Session 146's graduation, especially during these unforeseen times. I would like to thank the Training Academy for teaching and helping us get through the past several months. I want to start this speech by telling my class that if you are not willing to learn, then no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, then no one can stop you. So I want to thank all 22 of my classmates for being determined to learn with me, as we have now joined a career where we must never stop learning and continue to improve every day. As I stand here today, I see my fellow classmates in our official police and sheriff uniforms, and I can't help but reflect on the journey we endured the last 9 months. I still remember the day like it was yesterday. That day was March 30th, 2021. We all woke up early that morning, ready to start this new journey, but we had no idea what we were really getting ourselves into. But boy, did we find out quickly. That first day was tough. Let me paint the picture for you. There was push-ups, sit-ups, bear crawls. I don't know if you guys know what bear crawls are, but they suck, okay? Things I don't even know the name of, and loud, constructive criticism coming from all directions. Let me just say, when it was time to go inside, we were beyond relieved. When we entered the classroom, an instructor stood before us and asked, "Who got heart?" My immediate thought was, we all do, of course. Why else would we be here? He then continued with his lesson, and I pondered on this question for a long time, and it didn't hit me until the end of the academy, but I'll get back to that. As it got closer to the end of the day, we were told to grab our bags, so we thought, sweet, we're going home nice, early. I'm here to tell you, we were so wrong. They got us, again. As we ran back, all I could think was, join the police department, they said. It'll be fun, they said. They clearly don't know the definition of fun. To sum it up, day one, we did a lot of what our instructors call team building, okay? And this team building lasted the whole week. But out of that, the ball got rolling. Before we knew, we were into our major blocks of instruction, also known as field events. Field events consist of EVOC, which is just driving at FedEx Field, and the range, which is shooting at the gun range. I think I can speak for the class when I say driving was the best part of the academy. Hands down, I loved it, I really did. You're telling me I can speed safely, I may add, and not worry about getting in trouble? Sign me up any day of the week, even though I'm sure some of my classmates are still picking up combs from under their cars. It's true, they give us nightmares still. Nonetheless, between EVOC and Arrange, we met many instructors that made an influential mark on us, and for that, we would like to say thank you. Session 146 would also like to give a special thank you to Mr. V and Corporal Grimes. Corporal Grimes, chicken nugs, that's his favorite thing. When field events were over, time sped by, and our final test arrived, PST. Patrol Survival Tactics. During this time, we must successfully handle call for services that we are called to. I am happy to say that 23 student officers went into our finals, but 23 officers came out. Our final test only answered the question to us asked on the first day, the question I so deeply pondered: who got heart? I learned that the heart he was referring to was the heart of integrity, the heart of dedication, the heart of motivation, the heart that makes us human. One of my favorite quotes states, "There lies within the body a piece of flesh. If it is sound, then the whole body is sound. And if it is corrupt, then the whole body is corrupt. Indeed, this is the heart." PGPD Academy assisted us in dissolving all that we were not and helped us awaken all that we are so that our experiences reflect our good wills. It prepared us to feel confident in following our hearts and spirits because they will reside in a sound place, a place of truth, law, integrity, and righteousness. Through it all, our class became pretty tight-knit, and we became a team. But I think it was much more than that. We became close friends, and some may say even family. We made it through this process with the help of each other. There were many days in the academy when we contemplated our life choices, but we stayed in this process because this is what we wanted to do, because 146 has the heart. We had the conscious decision to make sure this community is safe and ensure that you can sleep well at night knowing that we are out here protecting you. And yes, our instructors were hard on us, but it was all for the betterment of ourselves. At the time, we may not have understood, but I'm here to tell you that all 23 of us understand it now, and we thank you for everything you put us through. I would like to thank our academy instructors personally, Corporal Robinson and Corporal Russell, for showing us balance, Corporal Sanders and Corporal Gibson for teaching us to never give up the fight, Corporal Penderfield for teaching us dedication, Corporal Mason for letting us know sometimes you gotta move some furniture, Corporal Hammond for showing us that you can never stop freaking thinking and improving, Corporal Gamble for showing us the way to the table, Corporal Easton for prepping our minds, PFC Green for keeping us motivated, and Corporal Askew for showing us a little bit about a lot, okay? Each instructor has provided us with essential tools that we will need to be successful. We will use these tools to master our craft. Session 146 will strive to be the best, and all 23 of us are truly strong for the weak, brave for the scared, well-equipped, and well-prepared to protect you. Thank you. Traditionally, each graduation class presents the academy with a plaque to be hung in place of honor with prior graduation classes. It is my privilege and honor to present Major William Alexander with the plaque on behalf of Session 146.
Thank you, Officer Johnson. I would now like to introduce Lieutenant Julian Mitchell, Commander of the Basic Officer Training, who will present the class to the Chief of Police.
As the commander of basic training, I officially certify that every member of Session 146 have met all of the Maryland Police and Correctional Training Commission objectives and all of the Prince George's County standards and procedures. Through hard work and discipline, the members of Session 146 have successfully completed over 40 weeks of training. Congratulations. Chief Aziz, it is my pleasure to present to you the members of Basic Training Class Session 146.
Thank you, Lieutenant Mitchell. Now comes the most sacred part of today's ceremony, the taking of the oath of office. The Honorable Mahasan El-Amin, Clerk of the Circuit Court, will administer the oath of office, and I will now invite the Executive Command Staff to stand and join Mrs. El-Amin in the taking of the oath of office. We also invite all sworn members to stand during the oath.
Everyone, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
Ethan Aiken,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland
and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will
and I will
support the Charter and laws of Prince George's County,
support the Charter and laws of Prince George's County,
and that I will,
and I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the position of
execution of the position of
Police Officer for Prince George's County,
police officer of Prince George's County,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state,
according to the Constitution and laws of the state,
and the Charter and laws of Prince George's County.
and the Charter and laws of Prince George's County.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. El-Amin. Now comes the event for which the students have worked very hard. Chief Aziz will present the members of Session 146 with their certificates. The students will also receive certificates from the Maryland Police and Correctional Training Commission and the Prince George's Community College, awarding them with 32 college credits for completing their time at the academy. Again, I encourage you to come take photographs during these presentations.
Are we masked up or not?
It's up to you, Chief.
I mean, it's up to them. I don't.
They're going to be masked, and they're going to squirt their hand sanitizer. Chief, just so you know, right, so they're going to come across. They're going to salute you.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Then the county exec is going to come probably to the other side, and there'll be a collective picture. Okay?
Oh, she's gonna come to the other side for the
Yes,
picture?
sir. Yes, sir. Good. County exec, good. I will now announce the class. Ethan Nicholas John Aiken. William Torres Almastica. Chantel Lenice Blanton. Jonathan Delone Bravo. From the Prince George's County Office of the Sheriff, Brene Gabrielle Brown. Brianna Janae Carr Rosser. She's the niece of retired Deputy Chief Anita Rosser from our police department. She's also the daughter of retired Sergeant Carr and active officer Corporal Cassandra Carr. Historically, we've asked active members to come up and have the opportunity to take a picture with their family member, and I would ask Corporal Carr to come up and do that now if she's so inclined. Emmanuel Davis. From the Prince George's County Office of the Sheriff, Wilmot Buki Detta. Yvette Guarneraz. Jose Ishmael Isiano Hernandez. From the Prince George's County Office of the Sheriff, Jasmine Devon Ernestine James. Ricky Johnson, Jr. Dalton Patrick Milliken. Jaywan Mikkel Ramir Montgomery.
Good job. Love you.
Living the dream. Yeah. Good job, man.
Malik Shondell Sims. James Jensen Stack. From the Prince George's County Office of the Sheriff, Vernon Jerome Stevens. Justin Michael Stutz. Faye Eric Tanu. Erica Jamile Valencia. From the Prince George's County Office of the Sheriff, Marco Antonio Valadares Cruz. Juwan Gregory Watkins. And last but certainly not least, Michelle Zambrana Alcocer. Ladies and gentlemen, our graduates. Please, if the guests would please sit. At this time, I'd like to recognize the special achievements of some of our graduates. The Marksmanship Award will be presented by Sergeant Daniel Seculiatano, officer in charge of our firearms training section.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, family, friends, and Session 146. I'm Daniel Ciclatano. I'm the Sergeant of the Firearms Training Section within the Training Education Division. Today I have the honor of presenting the Marksmanship Award for Session 146, but first I'd like to speak briefly about their firearms training. Each student officer received 2 weeks of firearms training and fired an average of 2,200 rounds. Each student officer must show proficiency with their firearm, which is demonstrated through mandated qualification courses. During the courses of fire, they are required to fire one-handed, two-handed, fire courses in low-light conditions while utilizing various flashlight techniques, all while moving and communicating from distances out to 25 yards. The Marksmanship Award is determined by averaging the scores of 3 mandated day fire courses. Before I announce the winner of the Marksmanship Award, I'd like to acknowledge the runner-up. When I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Our runner-up with a day fire average of 98.2%, followed by a 99.2% low-light score, is Officer Dalton Milliken. At this time, I'd like the recipient of the Marksmanship Award for Session 146 to join me here on stage. With a day fire average of 98.9%, followed by a low-light score of 99.2%, the Marksmanship Award goes to Officer Justin Stutz.
Sarge. Hold Sarge. Don't move. Turn around. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. The Police Vehicle Operations Award will be presented by Corporal Alexis Eason.
Good afternoon. Police vehicle skills is a 120-hour block of instruction. Students spend several days in the classroom learning the basics of vehicle dynamics, departmental policies, priority response, and pursuit driving techniques. The students then spend 3 weeks engaged in practical driving exercises. The practical program focuses on precision driving, braking, and evasive maneuvers, and skid control. The program culminates in mock priority responses and mock vehicle pursuits. The students must qualify in front-wheel, rear-wheel, and all-wheel vehicles during daytime and nighttime hours. Each course is driven for either a maximum time or minimum speed. At the conclusion of the driving program, the scores are tabulated and other factors such as consistency, maturity, and sound decision-making are considered. The recipient for the Police Vehicle Skills Award for Session 146 is the youngest of them all, Officer Justin Stoops.
Thank you, Corporal Eason. The Sergeant J. Talbert Memorial Awards for Physical Fitness will be presented by Corporal Juan Penafiel.
Good afternoon. The Physical Fitness Award is given in memory of Sergeant Robert Talbert, who succumbed to a heart attack while running in preparation for the fitness indicator test. The fitness indicator test is comprised of a 1.5-mile run, a flexibility test, and the maximum number of push-ups and sit-ups in 1 minute. Recruits are given a series of fitness tests during their time in the academy, and the scores for each component of the test are averaged for each recruit to determine the best overall performance on the fitness test. The female recipient of the award, who completed the 1.5-mile run in 15 minutes and completed 38 push-ups and 45 sit-ups in 1 minute, is Deputy Sheriff Brene Brown. The male recipient of the Physical Fitness Award, who completed the 1.5-mile run in 10 minutes and 35 seconds and completed 83 push-ups and 75 sit-ups in 1 minute, is Deputy Sheriff Malik Sims.
Thank you, Corporal Penafiel. The Stephen F. Goggin Memorial Award for Achievement in Criminal Law is presented to the student officer with the highest academic standing in criminal law, search and seizure, and arrest procedures. This award will be presented by Corporal Mark Mason.
Good afternoon. The Criminal Law Award is given in memory of Sergeant Stephen F. Goggin, who was shot and killed by an armed subject during a foot pursuit in June of 2005. The recipient of the Sergeant Steve F. Goggin Memorial Award from Session 146 for achievement in criminal law with an average of 97.6 is Deputy Sheriff Jasmine James.
Hold, Corporal Mason, hold. You guys got it? Thank you, Corporal Mason. The award for academic achievement will now be presented by Police Officer First Class Timothy Green. He's the class co-coordinator.
Good afternoon. As a class co-coordinator, I am very proud of Session 146, whose overall academic average was a 93.9%. The awards for third and second place were given out earlier today. Third place Academic Achievement Award with an overall grade point average of a 96.5 went to Officer Brianna Carrosser. Second place Academic Achievement Award with an overall grade point average of 96.9% went to Deputy Sheriff Jasmine James. The Prince George's County Police Department has a long history of family members serving Prince George's County. Beginning in 1943, Ralph Brown served as the Chief of Police until 1950. He dedicated his life to this agency, as did his son, Sergeant Joseph K. Brown, Sr. Sergeant Brown was killed in the line of duty on February 19, 1966. The Rotary Club for Southern Prince George's established the Sergeant Joseph K. Brown Memorial Award to honor his life. This award is presented to the top academic achiever. The recipient of the Joseph K. Brown Sr. Award for Session 146 with a grade point average of a 97.9% is Deputy Sheriff Brene Brown.
Thank you, PFC Green. The Chief's Leadership Award is given to the student officer who exemplifies the most exceptional leadership amongst his or her peers throughout the entire police academy. I would like to ask Chief Aziz to present the Chief's Leadership Award for Session 146 to Deputy Sheriff Brene Brown. Thank you, Chief Aziz. Our final award today is the Rodney G. Cheney Memorial Award for the Outstanding Student Officer, which will be presented by Corporal Garrett Askew, Class Coordinator for Session 146.
Good afternoon. Just as our new police officers were sworn in today, Mr. Rodney Cheney was sworn in as a Prince George County police officer in June 1971 and served honorably for 16 and a half years before being retired due to injuries sustained in the line of duty. Rodney was then retained as a civilian instructor at the Prince George County Police Academy, where he began introducing judgment enhancement shooting, which focused on dynamic cover and officer safety to an entire generation of police officers. It was a great loss on May 18th, 1998, when Rodney passed away after suffering a heart attack. Rodney's forward-thinking and leading-edge training methods continue on today and have resulted in thousands of officers receiving the most advanced and up-to-date training in officer survival tactics. Rodney is gone, but his memory, ideals, and goals are reflected in this award. The recipient of this award must meet the following criteria: be in the top 25% of the class in the final academic standing, qualify at level expert or higher at the firearms range, and maintain a cooperative and respectful recording during the entire training program. This student officer was a star football player and played on the varsity team for all 4 years of his high school career, where he ultimately graduated with a 3.3 GPA. Following high school, the student officer joined as a founding member of the Prince George County Police Department Cadet Program, which he completed just before joining the police academy. He serves as an inspiration to community youth, particularly those interested in career in law enforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present the outstanding student officer for Session 146 to Officer Dalton Milligan.
You're fine, ma'am. Take your time. Thank you, Corporal Askew. A guide-on has been designed to represent each academy class since June of 1982. The design and motto are determined by the members of the class. The guide-on is carried at all class formations by an individual who has been selected by the class. Officer Jawan Montgomery has been selected as the guide-on bearer for Session 146. At the end of each session, the guide-on is retired to the police academy to be placed in a position of honor with those previously retired guide-ons. I will now ask the class leader, Deputy Sheriff Brene Brown, and guide-on bearer, Officer Jawan Montgomery, to retire their guide-on. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to now please stand as Chaplain Paul Anderson will now deliver the benediction.
Oh, to be young again. Let us pray. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that day by day you will overflow with hope, with a sense of purpose, and a sense of fulfillment, today, tomorrow, throughout your lives, and forever. Amen.
Please be seated. A sincere thank you once again to all of our platform guests and to all of you for joining us this afternoon. Most importantly, thanks to all of the family members and friends who supported our graduates throughout their very intensive training program. I will now ask Corporal Garrett Askew, class coordinator, to dismiss session 146 for the final time.
That's 146.